Alright, game one between Columbia Esports and University of Rochester's squad. I believe their team name is actually not listed here.
Radiance ban.
So actually I'm not sure what their team's name is. Alright, just got a Doom first ban here.
Dire's
Columbia
ban.
Esports. Just a strong meta hero that they don't want to deal with. It looks like after the Halloween patch, they still think Doom is a very strong hero. So
Radiant
gonna ban him out.
ban.
Dire side bans out the Alchemist, another strong hero. These are both really annoying heroes that can get out of control really fast. These heroes they don't want to deal with. And Tidehunter banned out by Columbia. This is a very common ban from Hanging Sky. Sorry. He doesn't like dealing with the Tide, as it does provide a lot of team fight potential, and it's just a really good hero against the type of drafts he likes to run. So he generally will ban out these two heroes, the Doom, just because Doom is strong in the meta, and then the Tide because he doesn't want to deal with it, and also because he did ban out the Doom, who is one of the better counters to the Tidehunter. Let's see, we got a Wind Runner ban here. Wind Ranger, excuse me. From the Dire side, and Murano first picked up here from Columbia. The Slardar, very strong meta pick. The amplify damage, providing that True Sight is a good counter to the Moonlight Shadow. Also, just a really strong, pretty ambiguous pick. Can be played as a carry or an offlaner. A good start here from Rochester. Starter doesn't really show off any sort of game plan, and got the Lich here coming out probably as a support. Strong supporter. I don't know if it's worth a second pick. Maybe they're comfortable with the hero, or maybe they have some sort of game plan going in with the Slardar and the Lich. A decent pick. I'm not sure how strong the hero is. I expect Columbia to be maybe pairing up some sort of a support combo with this Mirana here. So maybe we will see something like a Shadow Demon, something like a Bane, someone with a hard stun to set up for those arrows. Even something like an Earthshaker should be good here. As we go into the reserve time a little bit for Columbia, it looks like they're thinking about this pick. Mirana is also an ambiguous pick. It can actually be played in almost any role, pretty much any role actually. Roaming, support, carry, offlane, and it's going to be the Shadow Demon pick here, just for those disrupt into arrow combinations. And then after they pick the Shadow Demon, they instantly ban off the Magnus. Looks like they don't want Dire to grab any sort of team fight potential. They see the Lich, they see the Chain Frost, and they really want to ban out these heroes that synergize well with Chain Frost. I do maybe see maybe Darkseer or Enigma ban out here from Columbia. They want to remove as much synergy as possible in the remaining hero pool from the Dire squadron, so that they can't just win with massive wombo combos in that Chain Frost and the Slithering Crush. I think Darkseer is a really strong pick. Oh, they're gonna go for the Templar Assassin ban instead. Let's see, TA is generally good against some heroes lacking in damage over time.
10 seconds to go.
TA is good against heroes that are lacking in damage over time. Mirana and Shadow Demon both really lacking any sort of damage over time. Looks like maybe they want to pick up
reserve time.
No, Quap doesn't actually, never mind. Quap does decent well against TA. Maybe they want to pick up, I don't know. Some sort of single nuke heroes. Shadow Fiend here picked up from Dire, so again, very strong team fight. I really see a Darkseer coming in. You can get a lot of sick Darkseer combos. The Darkseer vacuum into Slithering Crush, into Chain Frost, into Requiem. Huge amounts of damage. And it is going to be the Quap, so I was right in that Quap pick up from Columbia. Excuse me. So we've got support and 2 cores here for Rochester. So we're looking at maybe a either a carry or an offlaner, and then the second
seconds to go.
The second support. So
5
what
seconds.
heroes are in the pool coming out from Mirana. Shadow Demon has a lot of roaming potential. Maybe they want to pick up some
Reserve
defensive
time.
support, someone that can save you from that arrow combo. I think Abaddon is quite good. Abaddon maybe not synergizing as well in terms of team fight, but putting a shield on top of a Slardar or Shadow Fiend is actually pretty strong as well. The Abaddon should be good here. I really like it as a counter to that arrow combo. Other supports they could pick up, supports with multiple stuns. They actually go for the Clinks. I think this will be now Clinks, either Clinks or Slaughter could go in the offline position. So it could be carry or carry Clinks or carry Slaughter. And I like Clinks as a hero in general. It's one of my more favorite heroes. And so I'm really excited for Rochester's Clinks pickup here. I really hope to see a great game coming out from this Clinks.
10 seconds to go. 5 seconds. Reserve time.
Sorry about that one. So the Clinks pickup is a little bit of, I guess they got a lot of minus armor, amplify, presence of Dark Lord, so they're going to go for just some raw damage output here. Doesn't synergize too well in terms of the team fight potential, and maybe throwing Columbia Esports a little off guard. They saw the Lich, and they maybe anticipated some sort of big wombo combo with the Chain Frost, but maybe Rochester doesn't want to use the Lich here for the Chain Frost potential, vying rather to use it for the Sacrifice, Ice Armor, and its general high laning presence. And it looks like if Rochester does get off to a good lane start, they may dominate this game quite hard. They've got a lot of physical damage out coming here from Slardar, Shadow Fiend, and Clinks, and they do even have magic damage in the raises and in the Lich's nukes. Columbia a little confused by this Clinks, so they're going to have to think about it a little more. They've got, and it's probably going to be a roaming duo here, supports. They've got 2 cores left to think about, got a carry and an offlaner position. With only 20 seconds left, they are going to go for the Spirit Breaker. Looks like Spirit Breaker matches up decently against Clinks because you can charge him even though he goes in Vis, and you have vision of him, and then you will be able to get that dust off while you are charging actually. So good pickup, good counter to the Clinks. They don't want the Clinks to get too out of control, and Slardar having one of the Invis detections in the game is already picked up here from Dire, so they don't have that Slardar option. Spirit Breaker gonna be quite good. Also very disruptive in team fights. Can single out these hard-hitting carries like the Shadow Fiend and the Clinks, prevent them from getting that damage out. A solid pick. It is going to be the Abaddon last pick from Rochester. Looks like they are actually not going to go for that team fight combo, vying to get that defensive Aphotic Shield here, so that they can disjoint that Mirana Shadow Demon combo, as even if you get the arrow off, the Aphotic Shield just removes the debuff immediately. A lot of physical damage here coming out from the Dire. It looks like they really want to win the laning phase, and it looks like they're setting themselves up to win the laning phase. Lich lanes with anyone is very strong. Slardar, Shadow Fiend, both strong laners, and Abaddon, of course, a very strong laner. 20 seconds remaining on the time for Columbia Esports. Let's see who their final pick will be. I think this will be the carry player. A lot of good carries banned out already. Anti-Mage, Luna, Ember Spirit.
10 seconds to go.
It's going to be a Sven. This is interesting. I have not seen this come out from Columbia yet. There's not really a lot of synergy here with the Sven. There's no one to bring him around. I am a little concerned to see if Sven will get kited as we have a pause coming in. It's like a bathroom break called for Rochester, and let's just do some draft analysis here real fast. Looking at these teams, we've got Ender on the Slardar, Lord of the Potatoes on the Shadow Fiend, Smalls on the Abaddon, Squared on the Lich, and Clinks or Matt Flu on the Clinks. On the other side, we've got Wyvern on the Mirana, Hanging Sky on the Shadow Demon, who plays a very, very commendable Shadow Demon. Calypso on the carry Sven, Jesse going mid on the Queen of Pain, and Dino on that off lane. Spirit Breaker. We look into the game plans, it looks like we will see, has anyone bought items? No one has bought items as the pause was initiated immediately when players loaded in. Uh, and I'm curious to see. I think it may be this offlane Klink's position, although Slaughter has been playing the offlane as well. Both can go to that row. Um, so I don't know what sorts of laning situations other than the mid Shadow Fiend. We can talk about that mid matchup, Shadow Fiend versus Queen of Pain. I think Queen of Pain slightly edges out really early because of Shadow Fiend's poor base damage. If Queen of Pain can get those early last hits and continue to pressure out Shadow Fiend, he will have a hard time. However, the Lich really changes things up. If the Lich initiates a dual lane early in the game to secure the Shadow Fiend those first few souls, Shadow Fiend should be just fine. You can get the first sacrifice off, Shadow Fiend can go and grab that rune while Lich blocks, and Lich will just rotate between the safe lane and the mid lane, stacking, sacrificing, and allowing Shadow Fiend that extra advantage. So with the Lich in the game, if he plays this well, it should be a long mid lane for the Shadow Fiend. On the other hand, there is this very, very dangerous support duo in Hanging Sky and Wyvern, the Shadow Demon Mirana combo, and the Abaddon isn't always going to be around to get the aphotic shield. Shadow Fiend rather, not having any escapes, so he's very vulnerable to these sort of arrow ganks. A lot of this early game is going to be dependent on these supports here, the roaming duo from Columbia as well as this defensive Lich support from Rochester. They're both actually very defensive supports. I think if the ganks don't come off starting at the very beginning of the game, also Spirit Breaker, indeed, I forgot about that. Spirit Breaker punishes Shadow Fiend very hard as well, as he is a hero lacking in those escapes. Alright, we've got a movement here from Columbia University. It looks like they're heading up towards the top rune. On the other side, we've got Lich. We've got Rochester's heroes just sort of heading out into their regular lane positions. Looks like it is going to be the Klink's carry here. I'm actually a little surprised he grabbed the Skeleton Walk first. Shadow Fiend actually maybe going to get caught up here. No, there's not enough move speed. Even with the boots, he dodges Jukes into the trees and destroys the vision here. Hanging will not be able to get the disruption, so dodges that gank quite well. Necromastery actually leveled already from the Shadow Fiend.
It's almost time for everybody to die.
Really, they don't really want to take a level 1 engagement here, especially with the Skeleton Walk as well taking out the Klinks. So level 1 engagement not going to come out for Rochester University, and his top rune should just go to Jesse for free. And let's see how Eclipso fights Ender here for this bottom one. We've got Lord of the Potatoes here, but he has that Necromancy level 1, so he's not going to contribute much. Hanging Sky heading down. It looks like both runes will be taken uncontested by Columbia. Wise choice not to engage here with those level 1 spells being taken early on. And let's see, Lich is going to get that deny. He's going to go for the range creep, actually. That's an interesting choice to deny the range creep. It does provide a little more damage early on as mid lane Smalls gets harassed up a little bit. But I think, personally, I think I would vie for a melee creep deny, as it's just a little more lane pressure in terms of pushing lane back. Got a ward placed here in the middle lane by Smalls. Quite good ward here against the Queen of Pain in the mid lane. You want to be able to see where she is and what kind of, and it's just generally a good positioning ward. But it looks like Jesse is going to just start pressuring up here with that. He's going to get a very fast level 2 from the bounty rune as well as those first couple last hits. Shadow Fiend actually not having any last hits here. Goes for the Wraith Band, actually gets a shared tango, buys his own tango as well, so he has a lot of regen early here. But there's also no talisman as well on Jesse. So this first last hitting competition will be superior for Jesse in the mid lane. Bottom lane, let's see, it's going to be a dual lane, Lich and Slardar. It's actually quite strong, I think. They've got a great great aggressive ward rather. It covers a lot of vision here. So it's good, and it looks like Hanging Sky is just going to be stacking and pulling here to try to deny Rochester farm. How well can they contest? Lich actually very strong. Because he pulls the lane back, so it may be that even with the stacks and pulls, they will not need to contest these pulls as the lane will be pulled back. But it looks like it's going to be pushing up to the tower, and they're just going to stay back in the lane. They don't want to engage at all. Dino, on the other hand, doing quite well in this lane. With the Klinks. However, the Klinks now have searing arrows. He needs to be very careful. He can fall, but there's very little kill potential. Nice D wards coming out here from Smalls. Gonna clear up that camp, and Dino cannot actually. Dino actually. I'm actually wrong about this. Dino actually is can do whatever he wants in this lane. He just needs to be careful about his HP, make sure he doesn't take too much harass from Clinks, but he can charge out at any time. There's no stuns coming out from this lane, so should be very little kill potential coming out from Rochester in that lane. I believe a lot of the action will be coming out in this bot lane on this try versus duel situation. Early game, let's look at some EXP and hero levels. And so it looks like the Spirit Breaker is doing a little better against this dual lane. Slardar is still actually level 1, very unfortunate. And in mid lane, it looks like dominated by this Queen of Pain. Looks like Lich did not choose to help stack or deny creeps for the Shadow Fiend. And I really think he's not really doing too much in this bottom lane. I really think if he helps out the Shadow Fiend, it's going to be a lot more useful for his team. The Slardar really just needs to soak EXP. He doesn't really need this much help. And they're wasting a lot. Oh, top lane, I missed a kill coming out here from Dino. I didn't expect any kills, especially from the Spirit Breaker. It looks like maybe he got a lucky bash or two, and on Abaddon. With the pseudo random change to Spirit Breaker, I really didn't expect any sort of action happening from Spirit Breaker. So quite unexpected, and don't know how that happened. So anyways, I think the Lich really should be hanging out in this area. He should be denying creep for the Shadow Fiend instead of staying out here on the bottom lane. He's really not getting much done, and he should be stacking in between creep denies. And this will really accelerate the Shadow Fiend. He would have a much more favorable lane. He probably could win this lane quite heavily against the Queen of Pain with one creep denied every wave, as well as those stacks later for the Shadow Fiend to claim and accelerate his farm. And with the change to mid lane, some action. Looks like Spirit Breaker charging in. Shadow Fiend has no mana, and this should be a quick kill. Doesn't matter if he doesn't get bashes. He's slowed down, and yeah, he's gonna grab that kill. Just should bring out a free kill here. Well played from University, seeing Shadow Fiend just a little far back. And there's not really any worth vision here for Dire side to see that Spirit Breaker charging, which is really important. They need to get some wards in this area, track the Spirit Breaker's movement. And this is really going to set the Shadow Fiend back. Already didn't have too many souls, and now he's even less souls. Bottom lane, looks like a storm bolt into an arrow. Looks like maybe there was a disruption to set it up. He's going to grab a kill on that Lich, and I really think Lich shouldn't be hanging out in this bottom lane anymore. He really needs to help out the Shadow Fiend, who's really struggling. It looks like the Slardar is actually not really, he's really hard to kill. Even with the disruption, he just needs to play a little back, and they're not going to be able to dive him. He's a very tanky hero, I think. And no, he's just going to TP back bottom. I really disagree with his choice here. He should definitely be pulling and denying for the Shadow Fiend. Wyvern on the side, searching for arrow, gonna shoot it, and it's gonna land on the Lich, but there's no follow-up. Nope, they're just gonna leave him. So good arrow, but Shadow Demon was not in position. He was actually pulling, so no follow-up. Sven didn't want to use that stun. Looks like Shadow Fiend's gonna be stacking for himself.
Dire's middle tower is being attacked.
And actually caught up a bit with those self stacks. So even without the Lich helping him too much, and with the gank from the Spirit Breaker, he is almost even. Of course, he's losing out a bit on the EXP because there's a few more denies from Jesse here. But he's doing decent in that mid lane. And Abaddon actually not, maybe one stack here, but not too many stacks from the Abaddon either. And Abaddon, Clinks doesn't need help at all from Dino. Should be just fine. So I think both supports should be focusing really hard on this middle lane. Ender actually a little out of position, but it looks like gonna Slithering Crush and get out just fine on the bottom lane. Looking at CS, got both carries about tied up on that CS. There's a bubble coming in from Hanging Sky. Arrow will land. Sven gonna wait that duration. Throws up a storm. It's a quick kill on the Lich. Ender is not gonna do much here. Slithering Crush doesn't land on Calypso. Well timed on that stun chain from Columbia University, grabbing another kill, and it's 4-0 for Columbia. Let's look at some net worth. It's a sizable lead in terms of net worth. EXP looks very even. 2,000 for Columbia. It's like, let's look at net worth for individual heroes. And it looks like Queen of Pain is going to be leading out quite a bit actually over this Shadow Fiend. Looks like that death really hurt him, as well as the lack of stacks
Dire's
from his
middle tower
teammates.
is under attack.
Link's actually doing a little
But you
better in
probably
that
already knew
off
that.
lane, or in that safe lane position, but of course against a Tri versus duel
Dire's middle
versus
tower
this
is
Spirit
under
Breaker
siege.
solo. Spirit Breaker's not going to be able to contest Link's at all in this lane, so this is to be expected. And the few kills actually should make up
Dire's middle tower is being attacked.
for that. It looks like the kills went to Mirana. And we've got actually Hanging Sky taking up some of these jungle stacks for himself on that Shadow Demon. Gonna try to get that Soul Ring, it looks like. And Wyvern is gonna rotate out. It looks like they're confident in leaving Calypso on his own. What has he got? He's got a Hand of Midas coming out. Queen of Pain, mid lane. I missed the kill. It looks like Wyvern wasn't even needed there. Gets that solo kill with the ultimate. Very low, but is going to regen up with this bottle. So well played by Queen Jessie here on the mid lane, grabbing that solo kill on the Shadow Fiend. That's one of the really things you gotta worry about as Shadow Fiend. You're not gonna have a lot of kill potential on the Queen of Pain, but she definitely does have kill potential on top of you. You have to be a little careful in positioning. So I really think Rochester's draft worked out could have worked out a lot better if they had these supports focusing more on the middle lane, focusing more on the Shadow Fiend. I think in terms of the early game, the Clinks should have a great time by himself, so that Abaddon didn't even really need to pull. I think Clinks could have just held Queen Breaker just fine against a solo Spirit Breaker. If Abaddon was hanging around, that Shadow Fiend could have prevented a couple more ganks. Looks like Wyvern pressuring up on Smalls a little bit. Jessie coming in from behind, actually going for this courier on the other side. The arrow hits on Smalls, but it's fine, and actually punished here for that greed, going for the courier. It looks like Slardar was in the area for some reason. Dino coming in for the charge on Ender. He will get the charge off. Will ult on Ender. It's very tanky. He's got some one charges. Still the pushing. I think Dino won't fall actually here.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Tower damage coming in. He actually chose to ult Mirana instead of Spirit Breaker, but it did work out. They did grab that kill. So some greedy dives here coming from Columbia, being punished from Rochester. Very well done. Slider actually in the area. I don't think he TP'd in, so he was just in the area for some reason, leaving Lich on that bottom lane by himself. Looks like Sven actually went back as well after grabbing the Hand of Midas, but they got to see this Hand of Midas, so they really need to punish. They need to win lanes a little harder. They're not really even winning lanes in the first place, so as we pan out, as we look into the later game,
The prize is mine.
Columbia does have a little better late game because a lot of the damage coming out from Rochester is going to be physical, and they've got a lot of defensive abilities, specifically the
Dire's
disruption,
middle
but also
tower is
the
under
blinks
attack.
coming from Queen of Pain.
You
They've
might
got
want
a lot
to
of
look
control
into
coming from
that.
Spirit Breaker.
Radiant's
So
top
it's really
tower
hard
is
to
under siege.
catch Columbia team. So I
Radiant's
think
top
Rochester
tower has
needs to have
fallen.
won this early game, and they did not. So it's going to be a hard road coming into the mid game for Rochester. It's like Dino actually hanging out here on the Roach Pit looking to grab a charge on someone. Maybe
Dire's
Ender
bottom tower is under
Ender
siege.
is going to be just rotating around back to the off lane to grab some farm.
Dire's structures have been
As
fortified.
the war cry here
Dire's
called
bottom tower is
casted by
under
Calypso
attack.
to push out the lane
It'll
a little
probably
bit.
be
So he's gonna
fine.
come back and farm up a little more. Net worth, Klink's actually uncontested on top lane, is actually at the very top. Let's see what items he's going to go for. Saving up 2,000 gold, so no idea on the verdict for what the Klinks is going to go for. We know the Sven got that Hand of Midas. Actually, Mirana holding on to 1,000 gold as well. Very interesting here. Jessie finished the power treads, holding on to 900. So not sure what he's going for as well. Got a charge coming in on this Shadow Fiend, but he's gonna grab the kill on the Queen of Pain first. Wow, misplay here from Jessie. Thunder comes in. Looks like Klink's gonna be rotating in. He's gonna go for that Orchid first with that Oblivion Staff, and with this increased damage. But Dino has his ult. Is this gonna be enough? He has the charge. He's gonna charge out. He should be just fine here. Klink's will not be able to grab that kill. He's gonna chase for
Dire's
it though.
bottom tower
If Dino
is
sticks
being
around,
attacked.
he could be in a lot of danger, and he actually is sticking around. He's got the Urn Charge though. It's very tanky, and it looks like Klix is just not gonna go for this kill. Bottom lane looks like Sven dived in a little deep and is punished for his aggression. They're gonna keep chasing with this sprint move speed, he will be able to catch up, grab that Slithering Crush, and get another kill on Hanging Sky. So it looks like Columbia falling apart a little bit, being a little greedy in their dives.
Dire's middle tower
Playing
is under
a little
siege.
less smooth as they could be playing. Not very coordinated in their ganks.
Radiant's
And it
bottom
looks like
tower is
Rochester is
being
going to
attacked.
gain a little bit of advantage here from that. Yeah, the gold graph is their lead. The EXP graph going down, gold graph going back to 0 from that early game lead from the first few kills. And this is exactly what Rochester needs. With the early game advantage, they can just snowball out of control. They really need to get a few more kills in order to keep that pressure on. Shadow Fiend really not having a great time. They need to ensure this Shadow Fiend a little better over time because they're not stacking, like I said, a lot. Oh, Slaughter actually finished the Blink Dagger. Actually, ults the wrong Queen of Pain, but will grab the kill anyways. It looks like Hanging Sky may be in trouble here. No, Wyvern gets the return arrow. Dino charging in on the Spirit Breaker. Got the ult coming out from Shadow Fiend. Shadow
Radiant's middle tower is
Fiend grabs a
under
kill on
attack.
a Dino, and it should be another kill.
Dire's
Three
bottom
kills
tower
here
is
for
being attacked.
Rochester as Columbia University just being too aggressive here, I think, against Rochester.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Klink's coming in from the backstab, almost has his Orchid completed.
Radiant
Maybe
has
able to get this
fortified
kill.
its structure.
Wyvern does have the leap. He will use the leap, get out just fine. Not enough mana for the strafe, but I don't think that would have mattered.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And that's one of the things Rochester's lineup is missing out on a little bit. They only have the Slithering Crush in terms of lockdown. Oh no, Abaddon actually loses his ult to the tower shot.
Radiant's
That's quite
middle
unfortunate.
tower
It
is
is a short
being
cooldown.
attacked.
It shouldn't be too big of a deal. However, if the engagement happens here and he dies, he'll be really regretting it. It's like Wyvern is going to TP in, goes for an arrow straight on the Shadow Fiend, but there's not too much support. Dino will get that long range. Dodge 1-3, and they're going to grab 2 kills. Looks like Wyvern falls in on the turn. And if this bounces to just, he's going to get out just fine. This will be 2 for 1 here. Finally, on the bottom, looks like Calypso being gone on by Ender. The charge coming out from Dino gets the Bastion, and the Stormbolt coming in will finish off Ember. But Smalls on the other hand, grabbing that Mist Blow, going to give a kill on Sven, and he's just going to TP out. Is there a disruption? Doesn't even need the disruption. The charge coming out from Dino canceling. The TP grabbing a kill on Abaddon. Another 2 for 1 exchange for Columbia, something they've needed. Great engagement there. I'm a little tired and congested, so sorry if I'm not casting as well today. So 10 to 10, let's look at the gold graph. Very close game, 0 on both teams, as we see a little bit of D-word action happening here from Wyvern. Same for EXP graph, so very close game due to some mismovement, misaggression here from Columbia, being too aggressive, not respecting Rochester's counter initiation. It looks like they're going to be going on Ender in the mid lane. Got a charge coming from Spirit Breaker, but he does have a Blink Dagger. It just blinks out just fine. It needed to be cancelled there from a Shadow Poison by Hanging Sky, and he did not cancel Blink Dagger, so this gank is not going to work out. And bottom lane looks like there's going to be a little bit of pressure. Looks like Shadow Fiend's going to go for that mech.
Tower is under
It's going to be quite delayed due to his poor early game start. Even though he is topping on the net worth. Actually, no, he does get the mech really early. I was wrong. Looks like he recovered quite well in the ensuing engagement. It's actually 4-4, so he got a couple kills. And it looks like Hanging Sky and Wyvern are going to be hunting. They're going to hunting for these Clinks. Do they have detection though? They don't have detection. Oh no. Looks like Clinks will just get out just fine. He's almost got his Orchid. Bottom lane looks like Sven going to be killed here by this Shadow Fiend. As RIT just grabbing kills all over the place. Columbia just not demonstrating their usual defensive support for efficiency here, leaving Calypso on his own, and he's actually dying quite a bit. They're going to pressure up this bottom lane. I don't see Columbia being able to defend at all against the Chain Frost, and with the max souls, Shadow Fiend is quite strong.
Radiant's bottom tower is under siege.
To the mid lane, actually,
Dire's top
so
tower
both
is being
teams
attacked.
giving up their lane. Ender actually gonna go for this gank on Jesse. He gets a bash. Does
Radiant's
not get a
bottom
bash.
tower is
He's
being
got the sprint
attacked.
move speed though.
Radiant's bottom tower has been destroyed.
Maybe able to get another kill here. He's got the Slithering Crush. He's gonna chase down Jesse. One more hit. Jesse does actually fall solo to this Slaughter. He's just gonna sprint out, and he will live. Moonlight Shadow not gonna help against Slaughter's amplified damage. Bottom lane looks like Lich gonna get charged here by the Shadow or Spirit Breaker. Actually, I said Shadow because he got a Shadow Blade. It looks like they will see this rotation. He's gonna TP out just fine. So we've got the ward shouldn't have seen anything, so maybe just some game sense there coming out from Lich. He was Shadow Bladed. Maybe he saw Sven coming in. We've got Clinks here rotating in on this Spirit Breaker, and with the Orchid, Spirit Breaker will not be able to charge out. He's gonna go on the Spirit Breaker. However, he does have Shadow Blade, did not think about that. He's got to deny this DD. Nice deny with those illusions. He's got a lot of physical damage. A Clinks with DD is something they really need to worry about. And so Columbia a little bit on the back foot here. There's a slight gold lead and EXP lead coming from Rochester. Of course, they're definitely not out of it. And actually Clipso pinging out the ward exactly where it is. So he knows this ward is here. It's on the magic bush, so both camps blocked. It's a pretty obvious ward. And he pings it out, hoping that the supports will come in and deny or destroy that ward. Net worth, we've got the cores on Rochester leading above the cores. Actually, Spirit Breaker highest net worth. Very interesting.
Dyer's top tower is under attack. Not that I care one way or
it's like
the
the
other.
cores aren't farming as well as it. Like, I really don't know where this Sven pick
Dyer's
is heading.
top tower
It's a strong
is being
pick, but
attacked.
it's a strong
Dyer's
hero.
top
But
tower has fallen.
there's a lot of I don't know. He just doesn't match up. Not sure about that Sven pick, and it's not really
Dyer's
showing
middle
up
tower is
here.
under siege.
In the game so far, as Rochester gonna go for this rush on. They should take it very fast with Slaughter amplified damage as well as Presence Darkwood. I don't think Columbia
Dyer's
knows
middle tower
this rush
is
is happening.
falling.
Shadow Fiend's gonna grab this
Falling.
rush, so Rochester grabs this rush on for free essentially. Thinking Sky might get caught out here a little bit. He's gonna head down. He should be fine. The sprint, however, with the Blink Dagger, he's gonna maybe get chased down. Dino waiting here though. Dino is gonna charge out and stop that aggression from him, and it's just gonna get back, and they're probably just gonna heal up. He's a little damaged from the Roshan attempt, and he didn't grab the Aegis, so he's playing with the balls here. Jesse maybe get caught out here from an Orchid, from the Clinks here. He's gonna get Orchided up, strafe, and this should be a kill. Oh no, the Shadow Ray is actually missing, so it's not enough. And there's a misplay there from Clinks. He could have gotten off a couple more hits from the strafe if he popped it immediately. So that should have been a kill, I think. It's not gonna happen. Dino grabs a
Dyer's
haster,
top
he should
tower
make
is
it out
under
just
attack.
fine.
I hope that's
Oh my
part
god, that
of
was a
your
lot of
plan.
damage. The Orchid may pop him. Nope, he will be just fine. It's just gonna run away. It's like Small's coming in from the back line. Oh no, there was a blink up from Ender. Did dodge the blink. The Slithering Crush is gonna kill him. So, good movement here from Rochester. As they are gonna group up. Looks like, no, Ender is gonna go back and heal. He is quite low from that Roshan, so he's gonna heal, and they are gonna group up with this Roshan, maybe to pressure up this bottom lane. They've got a mech on the Shadow Fiend, so their 5-man should be much stronger. Jesse going for that Aghanim Scepter on the Queen's Pain, but only 200 more gold, so that should be one big thing they're looking for Columbia. The BKB is what they're looking for also from the Sven. In terms of the cores, what is Spirit Breaker going for?
Radiant's bottom tower is under siege.
Spirit Breaker
Dyer's top tower
actually
is
finished up
under
the Shadow Blade,
siege.
doesn't have much gold on top of that, so doesn't know what I don't know what he's going for. Got a 4-staff came out for the Shadow Demon, and it looks like River on the oh no, Ender actually gets picked off here. Looks like Dino was just charging a mid creep, and it worked out just fine in terms of aggression. Dust coming out here from Lich, but it's not going to be able to catch up to Spirit Breaker. So great pick off against that Slardar on Columbia. They do need this, these sorts of pickoffs, as they shouldn't be able to win the team fight straight up. It's going to hold the aggression from Rochester for another minute at least. Oh, they're gonna go on this Lich. Lich comes in. It's the arrow. Arrow's not in position, but they've got the defense. And Lich is gonna go down here. It looks like Rochester just moving a little out of sync with each other. Supports heading off by themselves. They have great wards on the map. But they need to still be careful. They can't head out by themselves. They're not that far ahead anymore. In fact, game's just about even. So even previously they weren't that far ahead, only a few thousand in gold lead. So they can't play too cocky, making the same mistakes Columbia did earlier. Columbia played a little cocky with their supposed advantage, and it looks like Rochester doing the exact same thing here. They need to just group up with that mech, with that Aegis, and then just take team fights. And keep that farm advantage up. If they pressure towers on the map, they will have a map advantage, and they'll just out farm Columbia. And with these strong 3 cores, I think in the late game, they may come out a little bit ahead. Although both teams do have a very strong late game. Sven is capable of taking out entire teams by himself. Queen of Pain, nothing to laugh at. Mirana scales well as from a support into a core into the late game. And Clinks and Shadow Fiend both fall off, as well as Slaughter. And it looks like they are going to group up here for the bottom tower. Shadow Fiend completed a BKB. I believe he is top of net worth. He's going to be top of net worth here. So the BKB mech, very strong, very hard to kill. However, Spiritbreaker doesn't really care about BKB. Neither does Sven, because Sven's just going to hit you. So we'll see how this works out. Got a wraparound coming from Rochester, but Columbia is staying behind their tower. Actually, Wyvern actually leaps back. Looks like he's going back to Mana. And top lane, Sven's just gonna keep farming. Got a TP up in 7, so looks like Columbia's gonna get the upper hand in this short time because Sven's farming. Oh no, Wyvern is gonna get blown up completely. The Orchid, as well as 2 raises and a few hits from the Clinks, enough to kill this very squishy Mirana. And without Mirana, they don't have that Moonlight Shadow initiation potential. So it looks like they may be giving this tower up. Sven doesn't want to be Ender gonna go for that blink initiation. Good disruption coming out from Shadow Fiend. It looks like she's ult coming out here from all of Rochester. They're gonna grab that tower, but they shouldn't be able to grab too much more. They've expended all their team fights. And Sven's pushing up that
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
It looks like that's exactly what we're gonna do. And he's gonna TP off to the top lane. Actually, he goes for Blink Dagger Force Staff on this Slaughter. Very interesting. Actually cancels the TP out from Calypso. Very well done. And this Moonlight Shadow initiation coming up here. Coming out from Dino. It's gonna pop the Abaddon's Borrowed Time. But he gets bubbled up, so Borrowed Time not gonna be much effect. They're gonna pick up this Abaddon. There's an Invis rune here for the Tornadoes. Is there any detection? Do they even know he's there? Maybe not. I don't think they do. They're just gonna get out. Is Rochester gonna look for an engagement? Actually, Smoke here instantly popped by this invisible Shadow Fiend. They don't got detection, so that was a very curious smoke. Hanging Stack is gonna get blown up from that Blink Dagger coming in from Ender. Dino here, a little deep. Jesse orchided up. It's just gonna blink out too safely. Dino's gonna fall. So
Double kill.
without detection, I think that play is not gonna happen. And that Force Staff Blink Dagger actually working out great for Ender. On the other side, Jesse is gonna get picked off by that initiation from Ender. So the Force Staff Blink Dagger build, actually, this mobility is really hurting Columbia because they're not able to kite away from this Slaughter. So great build here coming out from Ender. And it looks like Clinks is going to go into Desolator for that damage. And they're just going to go for this heavy physical damage lineup. Let's see how Columbia is going to counter that. I want to see an AC eventually, maybe from the Sven. Excuse me.
Radiant's bottom tower is under siege. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Sorry. And they're just going to take a tower on bottom for free. The Aegis should have expired yet. It did expire, so they're going to wait for the next round with the Aegis to take the next fight. But they are going to grab some sizable gold lead, 4,000 here for the Dire side from these favorable engagements that they've been taking. And when we look here, all the wards have expired from the Dire. Do they have wards in the shop? Let's check. They actually do have one ward in the shop. What is Abaddon holding on to? Is he holding on to any wards? I can't click on him for some reason. Abaddon is holding on to one observer ward, so they need to get these wards up, and it looks like they've placed another ward here. So got a few wards, good aggressive wards. And Columbia on the side.
Dire's middle tower has been denied.
And we got some big items here finished. Silver Edge finished from Dino, and the Desolator finished from Clinks. And it looks like we've got a Butterfly coming out soon for this Shadow Fiend. He's going to be quite a force to be reckoned with that VKB Butterfly. But Silver Edge should preemptively counter that. If he gets the Silver Edge proc on that Shadow Fiend, it will disable evasion. So I'm not sure if Butterfly was the correct pickup here or not. We will see how it works out if the Spirit Breaker is able to get those Silver Edge procs. Looks like Shadow Fiend just going to go straight for Dino. Actually, it's going to charge. No, he's not going to choose to charge. He had a lot of backup, and there was no backup at all from the Dire Squad, but they didn't know that. Dire Squadron hanging out here, prepping for the next rush. Shadow Fiend playing a little aggressive, very unsafe positioning, but it looks like he's just going to be just fine with that. Columbia too scared to initiate on him, scared of the counter initiation. As Roshan will respawn here. They don't see it actually. A little unfortunate. Abaddon walking in invisibly, doing a little bit of scouting. Oh no, the sentry placed just in time. Just got to spot this invisible Abaddon. He's gonna just break it. Link's coming in. Silence is up Wyvern, but Dino's coming in to with the counter initiate. Borrowed time pop, but no one's hitting him. On the other side, we've got Shadow Fiend zoning out Jesse and Calypso. Lich gonna take out Verona here on this side, and Ender kills off the Shadow Demon, and is Dino gonna be able to make it out alive? No, he's not. There's a Force Staff up. Blink Dagger comes in. Ender cleans up Dino as well with 3-for-1 engagement. Looks like Lord of Potatoes was up there zoning out the two cores so that it was only two supports and that offlane Spirit Breaker there that could not take that engagement. She doesn't pop this Linkage, but it's okay. It's very short. This is a really fast rush. I think it's gonna go to it's gonna go to the Shadow Fiend. And they should be pressuring. They're gonna look to pressure high ground with this Aegis. Rochester playing a lot better than I expected, given their track record compared to Columbia. There's some very impressive play coming out from this team. And let's see if Columbia can defend against this all this pressure coming out from Rochester. They've got the Aegis, so
Dire's
they
top
group up
tower
for
is
5.
under attack. I only mention it
gonna
as
be
a
rough.
conversation starter.
Maybe
How
Hanging
do
Sky
we
gonna get caught out
otherwise?
here. No, it looks like they saw the rotation from Ender. They're actually gonna get this bubble. Marana arrow. Is there a Marana arrow? There's no Marana arrow, so the bubble's not gonna be able to do anything. Dino's charging in, cancels the charge, and that's great because Ender is supported by a few heroes here. This Moonlight Shadow is expended, so there's not a lot of aggression coming out from Columbia for the next few minutes, or 2 or 3 minutes I think, for the Moonlight Shadow cooldown. And so both teams are just gonna farm for now. Rochester wanting to pressure with the Aegis, but they have quite a bit of time on the Aegis. They don't need to pressure too aggressively. It looks like maybe a Shiva's Guard coming out here from the Slardar. Butterfly completed on the Shadow Fiend, and Jesse maybe playing a little far back, or a little far out here. 2 shots and his entire HP pool gone down to 1/3, so very, very dangerous position. These right clicks are just really strong. Is this courier going to be picked off? No, the courier's not going to get picked off. Dino on the other side. This Sven, actually I haven't seen really any impact coming out from the Sven. I'm a little worried about this pick. He's just not demonstrating a lot of impact. They really need to, and the early game Midas didn't really help in terms of those early game aggression plays, as the Midas isn't helping, but he is split pushing on the bottom lane, and can Columbia hold out long enough for Sven to keep pushing out. Looks like they don't want to engage here. It's just gonna charge out, but Rochester's just gonna stand behind the Shadow Fiend and just keep pushing up. Half tower down to 600 HP. Next wave should bring it down. Sven's gonna be doing some split pushing on the side, but it's gonna be enough. Hey, Sky almost gets caught out on the side. He's gonna be okay. It looks like Sven will TP back. Actually, Slardar now not in position. Rochester can't be taking these sorts of engagements. They're gonna just grab his tower and back off, or they're gonna go for racks with no Slardar. He's all in their control, so this is really risky. If Columbia takes a full engagement, Columbia actually not gonna take the engagement. Chain Frost gonna push them back. They're just gonna disengage. Actually, maybe Rochester wants more. They know Slardar is not here, and they're just gonna wisely back off. Not gonna risk it. 4v5. Columbia looking for more though. Gonna try to catch off some stragglers on this back. Looks like Rochester is tightly grouped up. They're not gonna get caught off, picked off here. Just gonna back off just fine. Maybe not. Link's out of position. They need detection on the side of Columbia for this Link's. Sven's gonna get a huge pull off, gonna grab off, pick off this Shadow Fiend. Looks like Rochester's gonna be out of position. Shadow Fiend's gonna be taking ult, but Sven pops the TP as well. But this Butterfly really working out. Butterfly working out for the Shadow Fiend. He's taking a lot of damage, but it's not enough with the Slardar not there. Slardar's gonna come in, actually gets arrowed up here. So there's not gonna be any more aggression coming out from the Slardar. Columbia gonna grab 2 kills. Very nice. Looks like Rochester was just a little too split up after that tower. They finished off. They got punished for it, grabbing the Aegis and the kill on Shadow Fiend, as well as the additional kill on the Abaddon, and only losing their Shadow Demon. That should be a slight gold swing up. Yep. MKB finished up on the Sven. He did see that Butterfly and he saw how punishing it was in that last team fight, and with those kills he's gonna grab that MKB. I want to see some more damage coming out next, maybe, or even the AC defensive item. I don't really know what they need to be building here, but they do need to be taking great team fights like that last one. And I do think the Sven will work out a little better into the late game than some of these carries on the side of the Dire. And actually, a nice ward here from the Dire, blocking up this Sven camp. The supports haven't really been able to accelerate his farm with stacks. I believe they've been blocking this camp up the majority of the game, so well done from the supports in Rochester. Slardar should be able to finish up Shiva's if that's what he's going for. Maybe he's going for something else. Is he going to be able to pick off this Shadow Demon? Grabs the right one. Is going to just get three quick hits. He's going to finish off Shadow Demon. There's actually no vision at all. So that was just yeah, I don't know how he knew the Shadow Demon was there. I guess he saw this high ground here. Shadow Demon was walking up. It's not vision for either team in the area. Yeah, he does finish up the Shiva's Guard with 1700 gold left. Let's see what item he's gonna go for next. Lich finish up before staff, gonna go for an Aghanim Scepter. It's a good item, I guess. I don't. Sometimes your bounces just don't reach their maximum anyways, so the infinite bounces isn't gonna help too much. But I guess you get a little bit more damage out of it, I think. What does the Ag Scepter do for the Lich? Cannot tell. Klink's just hanging out here. Hasn't really bought too much. Progressed. It's got a BKB. Bottom lane, Sven's gonna go for this push. Actually pops ult over his tower. And Rochester, actually, no one's in position to defend. They've got TPs, but no one's making a TP attempt back. And you're just gonna walk back. That's Calypso, actually, is gonna TP back. No, it was the Shadow Fiend. Calypso actually just gonna go for that rack as the fight breaks out in the top lane. Looks like they only lose Hades Sky. Dino, the Mirana, ult, getting everyone else out, and Calypso's gonna take a racks for free. Some just outplay here coming out from Rochester. Oh no, Slardar is gonna get the stun off. This is quite strong on the top lane ladder. Oh, they're long duration arrow coming out. Shadow. Now Dino actually quite long on top lane, bottom lane. Calypso and Ender just dancing around. Dino gets quite a few kills. The Link Solution's doing a lot of work actually. Want to finish up the last Rochester gets picked up. Looks like Cliffs is gonna fall here. Ender's just a little bit stronger with that armor potion, so kind of amplify damage. But overall, a great trade for Columbia. They're gonna get 4 for 2. As well as a free racks, and it just looks like Rochester was outpositioned in that whole engagement. Slaughter just didn't have a TP scroll, and they sent him back, so he wasn't able to stop the racks fast enough. And then the 4v4 engagement, there was just all the ults were used on the Moonlight Shadow, so Columbia managed to disengage and heal up with that defender's advantage, so they were able to heal up and re-engage a second time, as Rochester thought they could grab that racks. So this is looking like this may be the start of the comeback for Columbia, because they are up 1 racks. Both tier 3s down, however, so any sort of bad team fight taken at the base may result in a quick 2 racks sweep for Rochester, so they really need to be careful about that. And they need to grab these tier 2s so that the Sven, who's been pushing quite excellently, can quickly grab racks as well. And Rochester really needs to make sure the team grabs TPs and actually boost travel on this slider here, grabbed off even with the power chance. Looks like they didn't want to sell power chance. It does give a lot of stats. So boost travel on the Ender should be able to deal with that pesky split pushing Sven. Well, Sven's getting quite big as well. I can't actually click on him for some reason. We've got a Moonlight Shadow initiation coming out here from Columbia University. Do they know about this Roshan? They definitely know about this Roshan. Looks like they're just gonna give it up. Roshan just goes down way too much. DD room from the Shadow Fiend. So Shadow Fiend's gonna grab another Aegis, and it looks like they're gonna go for the win with this push. All 5 of them are group up. Shadow Fiend going to the bottom lane, pushing it out. And Aegis guy actually gets out there. Oh my god. I need to get some water. Rip. And Dino and Calypso actually on this top lane, going for this split push, and no one's in position actually to defend. Do they have TPs to defend their own base? No, they do. Everyone has TPs.
Dire's top tower is under siege.
So it looks like they're going to go for the split push here. They don't want to take an engagement. They want to delay as much as they
Dire's
can.
top tower is being attacked.
Rochester's entire team's actually going to go straight to this bottom lane. No one's going to go back to defend. Are they going to trade? Jesse, oh, nice Yule Scepter coming out there. Ender walks in, not gonna be able to get much off. He has the cheese, really pops the cheese. Dino pops his BKs. But while this is happening top lane, Sven's just smashing away at this tower, and this Jesse comes out. Axe gonna blow up the Lich. Lich actually used this. On the other hand, Rochester's squad is taking out the entire base. Are there buybacks? I mean, actually, Ender lives for the men. Jesse's
Radiant's middle barracks is under attack.
Buyback for this. Charge in. Maybe they're gonna grab this Ender. Ender, maybe not. Sven actually taking back in. So now Sven's here. He's got the Blink Dagger. Oh no, he's dying so fast. Oh no. So much physical damage coming out from Rochester. Sven's gonna buy back too. Small, so he's gonna fall, but so much damage coming out from this. Shadow Fiend still high back. They are gonna break Vegas. I mean, not Axe. He's gonna bubble up. He's gonna fall on the side. Strategist. He's just gonna go for that Axe. He's not gonna get much. They will clean up, but it's quite costly in terms of buybacks on the side of the Radiant. Both teams have taken down 2 racks, but the split racks from Radiant I think a little more effective, but there's no tower on top, so they need to be a little careful. It's a little easier to defend against the creeps on the Radiant side, so split push is going to be a little harder to defend on the Dire side because of that. Looks like they're just going to rush down mid. Let's look at buyback status on the side of the Dire. Everyone on Dire squad has buyback, so they shouldn't be able to mega creeps this. In fact, they really need to be careful, because if Calypso does fall again, it will probably be in the game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Is this part of an elaborate trap you're going to
So they're going to grab this 2-2 for free. They want to hold on to those buybacks as long as they can. I think Columbia just wants to pressure these buybacks and just get out whenever they can. It looks like they're not going to go for this high ground. Yeah, that's the correct play. Maybe not. Let's see what how it's gonna happen here. Klink's gonna I'm surprised there hasn't been a gem or anything picked up here in terms of detection. And Sven can't be frontlining here. Doesn't have buyback. Did use it earlier, so he's just gonna back off as these heroes are gonna respawn, and Columbia squad is gonna back off. And into this game, a really tense situation for both teams here. Any sort of team fight can be game losing, and there are buybacks on the side of Dire, while there are not buybacks on the side of the Radiant. So there's going to be a little bit of an advantage here for the Dire team in terms of being able to take team fights unfavorably. If Radiant loses a team fight, they do lose straight up, but if Dire loses a team fight, they're still able to buy back and reset. So Columbia needs to engage perfectly here as the Dire squad is going to head down. Satanic finished up here on this Shadow Fiend, so he's actually going all in, no buyback. I don't know if this is the correct decision here. On the other side, so let's see if the other heroes are going to buy anything. Looks like Slar is going to save for his buyback. What about Klinks? Klinks is going to save for his buyback, actually holding on to a lot of gold here. And looks like they're not going to pressure up either. Looks like they're just going to wait and farm out for Shadow Fiend's buyback. The longer they wait, the longer time they give for Sven's buyback to come off cooldown. So we've got to watch out for that. It's got some rotations here coming in from both sides. Looks like Dire side is going to be farming up those ancients. Just gonna back off here.
Shadows take us.
Ancients pinged out. Actually, Mirana ult used here by Columbia, and they're gonna get the wraparound gang here off of that smoke earlier. It looks like Blink's gonna be instantly picked off. That's a lot of damage done. Lich does get that chain cross. One hit from Calypso takes out the Lich. Oh no, Calypso, if he falls here, it's gonna be really bad. Shadow Fiend, he's gonna man up. Shadow Fiend is gonna kill off with the Satanic. He's gonna heal up back to full, and Klink's bob back, gonna take out Dino, and there's no buybacks for either of these heroes. It's gonna be the end of the game for Columbia. They really need to get out, but no buybacks on either of these heroes is really bad. They are gonna get out, but the creeps are in the base, and they've got Boots of Travel on the side of Rochester. I think this is actually a game. I don't see anything these remaining heroes can do. There's just too much damage output coming from the side of Rochester. They didn't play ridiculously amazing here to be able to hold. I really don't see how they can hold for another 60 seconds. This is Mega Creeps for sure, and most likely game. They do have a glyph, which should, you know, give them a little more time, but they're just gonna walk in through this middle lane. Yeah, there's just too much raw damage, but actually Wyvern leaps forward. They're actually, they're gonna lose this game right here. Looks like they are. These heroes just don't have enough damage. They're remaining Radiant heroes. They're gonna get the Mega Creeps on the Rochester side. So, and are they gonna go for the game? I think they can. There's 20 seconds, no buybacks. They're just gonna play it safe. They're gonna back off and let the Mega Creeps do work. Sven can defend. Oh, King's guy gets caught up here by these creeps though. But Sven can defend quite well against Mega Creeps. So it is not the game. I think they should have pressured for the Ancient. I think they had enough time, and there's not really much these heroes from Columbia can do against the heroes from Rochester, at least the ones that are alive. So I don't know. Clips will finish up the data list. Not gonna farm up a little bit more. They really need to get some great initiations. They need to win team fights. I need to get some water too. Mount is quite dry, and they're gonna go for the Hail Mary push here on the mid lane. Maybe just go for a counter Mega Creeps. They need to get a pick off first, and Rochester know exactly what's gonna happen. So this may be difficult. Actually, Clean's going for Butterfly here. I really disagree with this option. They've already got MKBs because of this Butterfly here on the Shadow. Doesn't have Aegis anymore, so We have to see how this works out. Slardar is still a force to be reckoned with. He has the Assault Cuirass completely finished, but that does mean no buybacks here. So if, oh no, some miscommunication coming out on the side of Columbia. However, Glitch, oh my god, pulls off immediately. Ender dies as well. Can they finish off the Shadow Fiend? The Shadow Fiend does have the Satanic. That's the reason he has wasted out another life. He's gonna be life stealing out there quite fast. Comes Satanic. Looks like they're gonna keep initiating. The Abaddon only the Shadow Fiend up is gonna pop the ball. Everyone on the side of Columbia gets out on that Moonlight Shadow. Abaddon buys back. And it looks like a good engagement here coming out from Columbia. However, they lose their Sven, who's almost all of their damage, and he's actually their only way of dealing with these Mega Creeps. No buyback for Sven for another 500 gold, so he doesn't have buyback. You gotta hold out 50 seconds with no Mega Creeps with this Shadow Fiend just rushing down middle lane. But amazing engagement, a lot of damage coming out from Sven, instantly killing about 3 heroes. And this game is quite exciting.
Radiant's middle tower is under siege.
These Mega Creeps are doing so much work, killing off these Radiant side heroes. Looks like Dire's just gonna grab this Aegis as the Radiant try to defend. And it's just more time that the push didn't. Sven died to the Shadow Fiend, and it looks like the push didn't exactly work out too favorably, but it wasn't a complete disaster. Are able to hold out for another round of aggression, and Sven grabs quite a bit of gold from those kills, 4 kills.
Rochester has been killed by the Dire.
Ultimately, they didn't get any base damage in on that push, so it's gonna be quite damaging. It's still really looking bad for Columbia's side. Calypso needs to farm up his buyback. How much does he need? He's not going to be able to farm it up before this next engagement comes in. So they really need to hold this engagement with no buybacks. This is going to be really rough. And now buyback is actually they do have 2 buybacks. But buyback is available on the Shadow Fiend as well, and he does have boots of travel. Oh no, he doesn't have boots of travel. So, but he's got the Aegis, so it doesn't matter. He can buy out boots of travel as soon as he buys back. So it's like Sven is going to be capable of holding out. He's going to not even go for buybacks. He's going to go for a Massive Madness for that attack speed. He realized he needed a little more attack speed in the last engagement to win that fight. So Rochester a little worried actually about this Sven. He does a lot of damage. If they do initiate on this Sven, I think they just win the game because they can manage to get the pick off with the Slardar. Slardar very strong here. In focusing down single heroes, and Columbia is completely focused on that single hero. None of the other heroes really do that much. We've got a Maelstrom on this Mirana. Looks like he's trying to hold out against these Mega Creeps a little better. Maybe go back to Maelstrom later. They're just gonna go for these towers. They're actually just gonna go for the base. I think this is a great play because Columbia has to defend against all these creeps. We've got a charge coming in. Rough Dino onto the Clinks. Back off. And meanwhile, they're gonna grab that tower with the Aegis Shadow. And Sven gonna ult in the back, actually getting kited up very well. Sven's not gonna do anyone. He's actually gonna die to the Clinks damage. Sven falls, no buyback, and this should be the game for Rochester. Buyback for Spirit Breakers, but there's no one dead on the side. Only the Lich, and the base is going down. They got a fire. They're not even gonna use it.
Dire did not use as badly as Radiant, and is technically
well played from Rochester. Taking a game out. I think there was some misplays from Columbia in terms of the early game aggression, as well as some excellent defensive movements from Rochester's whole team actually, especially the Slardar. Slardar did so much work in this game, and they're playing